Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot to me. Today I am going to be doing the most requested astrological chart reading or astrological chart report for Kanye West. So yes, we're going to get right into it today. This was the most requested one, so I'm going where people have mostly requested. So this one had the most likes. I put a post up yesterday just saying that I was going to look at a chart today, and Kanye was the one that was the most asked for. So promises made, promises kept. If you are new to my channel and you would like me to do a reading for you, please get in there now and go ahead and book me. The links to my website are all there. So I do offer 25-minute readings, which I really jam pack as much as I can into that time. And then I have 45 minutes, which is a lot more in depth, gives me more time to unpack your chart. So that being said, I am now fully booking up for this new month that we are in. We are coming out of the Taurus season. We're coming out of the bull season, which I must say I really have enjoyed, that slower home life energy. And now we're heading into the crazy batshit world that is the Geminis. So yes, I'm doing Kanye. He is a Gemini, probably one of the most polarizing, interesting Gemini people out there. So that being said, I thought it would only be fitting. So yeah, go ahead and book me now, get your order in, and as soon as you do, I can get to it and tear up your chart. You will get an MP3 recording, which you download and you get to keep. So yeah, that being said, I am a medium, I am a psychic, I can read energy, I can read faces, and I am an occultist. So yes, I practice the craft. And if you know anything about my channel, this is very raw, it's very real. I don't like sugar-coated, light and fluffy, new age, shit like that. I like to really get in there. I just say it like I see it. And I think people just respond to that. I'm a triple Sag Scorpio cusp. So it's like whatever I see, I just say it. So that being said, let's get into Mr. West's chart. I will be unpacking everything, well, as much as I can do today. I am a busy man. So the details that I have here for his date of birth, the most accurate one that I can find online and the most verified date and time, was that Kanye was born on the 8th of May, so his birthday is coming up in a few days, in 1977, and the time of birth that I have for him was for 8:45 a.m., and he was born in Atlanta, Georgia. So that is what I'm going to be going by. Other astrologers might have, different dates, but that's the most accurate one that I can find, so we're going with that. So off the top of my head, his big three. So if you're new to astrology and you've just walked fresh through the door, the big three that make up a human's astropsychology, well, that's really what it is, isn't it? Psychology, astrology is astropsychology, is that it would give him a Gemini sun. It would give him a Cancer rising. So when he was born in the Eastern horizon, it was sitting in Cancer. And he has a Pisces moon. So yeah, interesting. I have got a few of his songs on my iPad, I won't lie, on my, back in the day on iTunes. He knows how to put a song together. I'm not too familiar with his life or with his work in new age times, in the times we're in now. I don't really have much of an interest in that, to be really honest with you. I tend to stay away from celebrity gossip. So this is purely coming from an astrological perspective. So let's do it. All right, so we know that when we look at the sun sign, let's look and see the degrees. So let's just start there. So his sun sign in Gemini, it's 17.36 degrees. So, I mean, that's batshit crazy Gemini. Okay, I've got a lot of videos on the Geminis. We know that they are very duplicitous in their nature. We know that they can flip a switch at any moment. You know, this is an intellectual creature. It's an intellectual being. In astrology, your sun sign is your ego. All right, so ego is the sense of self-concept that we have. It's the masculine energy that we project outwards, and his is sitting in Gemini. So the feminine energy in astrology sits in the moon sign. That's your receptive energy. That's where you feel emotions the most, your subconscious mind. So Gemini is a wild card, just like Sagittarius. It is quite partial to giddy up, yeehaw, let's go, let's do stuff, let's get married, and then pulling a vanishing act very quickly. So it's a duplicitous nature that is quite restless. It's quite difficult to deal with. I know that because I have that exact placement within myself. So, you know, any level of success with a Gemini sun does require a level of forethought and planning and thinking. All right. So this sign moves quick. All right. And it's all in the mind. So his sun's sitting at 17 degrees. It's pretty much in there. It's embedded in there. Let's jump over and have a look at his ascending. So his ascending, his rising sign, so the angle that he sees the world through is sitting almost equal in placement in the symbol of the crab, the Cancer. So he is a Cancer. He's a home family daddy. Okay, it's quintessentially, he likes to make babies, he likes to fuck, he likes to be the patriarchal figure of a legacy. He wants to create a dynasty. Okay, he wants to create a legacy. And I think that we know that, I mean, with what his brands, with his fashion, with his record deals, with everything, it's all about like continuing on things. Cancer playing out in the ascending sign is generally someone that doesn't like being publicly ashamed or publicly embarrassed. Cancer is a private energy. It sits under the moon, but you see his Gemini sun is a public house. So it's like public energy in the sun is, he's got this, I want to keep things private. I want to make a very sacred home life for my lovers, for my family, but at the same time, it's like all on display. Okay. Now, Gemini sun is strategic in placing itself where it places itself. It doesn't make a jump unless the option is bigger or greater. Gemini is attracted to expansion, much like Jupiter is. And his Neptune is sitting in Sagittarius. So a lot of that tells me straight up, in conjunct with his sun in Gemini, Neptune, Sagittarius, is that relationships is where he grows the most, but it's also where it destroys him the most. Okay, so getting divorced, starting lots of flings, very flirty. That's all Kanye, so, lots of sexual partners, it's just part of his nature. It's part of his chemistry. But let's have a look and go a little bit deeper. Looking at his astrological insight there, it's like he's got an inner circle sitting there because his sun in Gemini is in the 12th house. So the 12th house in astrology is endings and beginnings, and it is the spiritual world. It is the occult. So it's playing out in Pisces. Let's just jump in and have a look there. So lots of subconscious thinking. He must have would have had a very interesting childhood. When I see that sitting in Pisces in the 12th house, in his sun sign, his childhood would have been quite turbulent. I think that he did live with his mother and they moved to China for a little while. He has a lot of, he would have done a lot of absorbing of things. Sun sitting in the 12th house is seclusion through strength and imitation of things. And so what is art more than just, taking on aspects of different shapes, colors, musical sounds, things like that. So he's been like a bit of a sponge. He's really absorbing everything. Gemini, he's got a Gemini with the ascendant in Cancer, is a natural psychologist and a person that is very, very psychological, to the point where it's like autism, and not in a good way, like in a way where people would just write him off as a raging lunatic. A lot of anything playing out in the 12th house is like public introspection that makes sense to him, but it doesn't necessarily translate well when it's projected outwards to the outside world. So people don't really understand that. But that wouldn't be bad for him because his Gemini sun is not really wanting to be understood. Gemini is a Rubik's Cube. Like the moment you think you figured them out, they've already shifted into a different shape. So he's a shape shifter, all right? Now let's have a look at the Cancer ascending there. I'm just getting pulled back to that. Cancer ascending in a dark-sided Cancer is someone that needs a muse, all right? So when I say muse, what I mean there is in terms of relationships, and I've seen this myself and I can share this and I can attest to it, is that Cancer sun or Cancer rising, Cancer moon, they can go after someone that they want to mold and shape into something that they want them to be. So they will find like a rough diamond, and through their tutelage, through their mentorship, through their connections, they like to make that muse the source of their passion, the source of their pleasure, the crown in their jewel, but also it is kind of like controlling. And you'll see that that's something that is playing out with Kanye. He did that with Kim Kardashian. So, he, as soon as she got with him, and she's a Libra, so just being honest, Libras are very easy to mold. They are air. They just go where I'm not having a gripe at Libras, but Libras are very, very susceptible to their external environment. A Libra energy in itself, in a Libra sun sign, genuinely needs others to validate back to itself that it's beautiful, that it's good, that it's special. That's how they feel special. And Kim Kardashian is like the modern day Marie Antoinette. She is absolutely that. So he's kind of done that. So it's like he would like to dress his girlfriends, dress his wives, dress his kids. I think he put Kim in some music videos or something. I think she was like naked on a bike. So it's publicly Cancer rising, dark-sided in that aspect at 18 degrees is someone that like takes a person and shapes them out of clay or makes them out of like a mold of something to be the version that they want them to be. Scorpio also does the same thing, all right? And I can contest to that. So that is a darker aspect to him. So they'll find the highest social capital that they can get in terms of sexual marketplace value, and then they kind of trap it in a way. So Cancer rising dark-sided within Kanye's chart is someone that holds something over someone else so that they feel safe. So, and I think that he kind of did that with Kim, but it's a bit tricky because with the Kardashians, they are like mafia, really. Like no one in Hollywood fucks around with the Kardashians. The Kardashians are kind of like, the femme fatale, the little bit like Vitilis Vitalius or whatever it is, like the vagina, Venus flytrap in the vagina, like they eat men up, that type of thing. So he deliberately went for that. There is an attraction to darkness there. There's an attraction to power there. And of course, going for a woman that is the most famous person on the planet or one of them, and then aligning himself with their family was a very strategic move that he would have made, because his Venus is sitting in Taurus and his Mercury sits in Taurus. So he loves aesthetics. His Mars, his dick, his phallus is sitting in Taurus. So he loves beauty. He loves beautiful things. He loves beautiful people. He may even be gay or bisexual, maybe just bisexual. Like, he will appreciate male physique and female physique. All right. Anyone with that much Taurus in their chart has a real lust and love for beauty, for the shape and form and flow of material, for the way things appear in the material world. He's very material focused. So with a Venus sitting in Taurus, it would make sense that he would shack up with the Kardashians and have babies with Kim, because that way he would, instantly kind of get himself out of debt. It would make him way more famous. So the kind of relationships that he's looking for are relationships that give him more power, and more power is more social capital. All right. So that Gemini is a sign that deals in Gemini in terms of sun sign. In his chart as a whole, look like as an overview, he's got his Lilith sitting in Gemini as well. So it's the sign of utility. Same with Capricorn. Capricorn goes for utility in relationships. So it's not just enough for someone to be hot and have a really hot sexual play with them. You have to bring a level of future promise to them. All right. And you have to bring something that challenges them in the mind. So Gemini Sun in a Cancer rising in itself is a lot of like home life, family life, but a lot of fights and conflict. All right. So I hope that makes sense. He actually looks a lot more physically like his Cancer rising. I have mentioned that in astrology, humans look more like their rising sign as they age. So he's got that kind of round baby face. He has a softness to his energy, and that's all coming from his rising sitting in Cancer. Cancers have the moon faces, and that's what he's got. All right, so let's continue looking at what else we have here. He's got a Jupiter conjunction as well. So, and his Chiron is sitting in Taurus. So anything that makes him feel poor, anything that sends him into any level of financial hardship is going to mentally really, really fuck with him. Okay, so his Chiron is sitting in Taurus and it's sitting squared over Cancer. So that means like he's going to have a mother wound. He has a very strong wound around his mother. I'm not sure if she was like a mentor figure to him, but it's all like the mother. And so he's kind of going into overcompensation for that playing out as a father figure within his life. All right. His midheaven is sitting in Aries and he's got a north node there as well. So he likes to be seen as an alpha and he likes to showcase love. He likes to showcase things. Like I think he was publicly getting blowjobs in public or something. I'm not sure if that was true. It's so hard to know, like with Hollywood, but like he would take someone on, put them out on display so everyone can see what he's got, that type of thing. So even in terms of sexuality, he'd be very, very kinky. Like really hardcore sex, lots of dom sub dynamic, that type of thing. Daddy play, that type of thing. It's all sitting in the Cancer rising and it's all sitting in his Mars in Taurus and it's all sitting in the Venus in Taurus. So he's very oral. So he'd probably be more like into oral sex than he would be into fucking, if that makes sense. He is emotionally very complex. Anyone with the Cancer ascending, like Cancers are so fucking complex. We know the crab, they're moody, they change. I mean, I've always said this and I've had a really bad, some really, really horrendous experiences with Geminis in my life and with Cancers, where they build worlds with you. They want to build a family with you. They emotionally, like, what's that word? What's that word where they kind of latch on and they start to imprint with you, like let's build a family, let's build a business together, let's build this thing together. like they're into that type of thing. So anything to do with building something, in terms of like with a family, with a loved one, trying to build a family business, that's all part of Kanye's legacy. And he wants to see that continuing with his kids. So his kids are going to be very, very important to him. And he would be very like tiger parenting as well. He's very protective of his children because his Cancer rising is like, I think I've seen videos of him like going off his head at like paparazzi, the paps just getting way too close to his kids. So he'd be pretty mad that his kids are going to be, mostly raised by Kim since they've divorced, because it's like he knows darker aspects of the Kardashian family, and he wouldn't really want that playing out with his kids. So the kids is his weak spot. Kids are always going to be the weak spot in his chart. Let's have a look. But yes, it's all about building things, building babies, making babies, that type of thing. Okay, let's continue. The sun was sitting in the 12th house. Yes, it was. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was very interested in the occult, or if he'd done some level of ritual. Possibly, you never know. Like a lot of people in the music industry do. And I think he has talked about like demons. He's talked about spiritual warfare, that type of thing. Anything, like his sun sitting in the 12th house. He's a 12th houser. So it's like, of course he would be interested in that. And that would probably be in a lot of his music as well. Geminis deal in riddles. So like musically, he's put lots of like breadcrumbs into songs, that later we've kind of listened to and gone, oh, I think he did have a song that was about COVID-19 years before it happened. So I would say he's also quite connected and tied into the Illuminati, or into some level of like Freemasonry, or, if you guys don't know this, like there's tons and tons of occultist groups everywhere. I've been approached by a few of them in my life, just out of the blue to try and join. I've got to be, don't want to say too much there, but yeah. The moon in Pisces. So yeah, he's a dreamy Pisces. So in terms of like relationships, he wants to save you. Moon in Pisces, to me, playing out against his Venus, is that he wants to take a girl away, put her in the castle, build walls around her, kiss her tears, make her feel beautiful, make her feel special, and keep her safe from everything but him. Okay, so moon in Pisces can be the shark or the fish. Just remember that Pisces deals in shark or fish. And boundaries to him, like, no boundaries. So like when you merge with him, it's like he owns you. He owns your soul. He wants, like, you can't deny him of anything that he wants. You become an extension of him. And I don't really think that's a bad thing. I'm the same, like in a relationship, like it's like when we merge together and we're married, it's like, it's us against the world. Like that's what it is. So he's got a soft, sweet side there in his lunar Pisces. He doesn't like to see suffering, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was in some level of like charity type of thing. Cancer rising or Cancer sun usually end up working for non-for-profits. So I'm not sure what he's doing there, but I think as they mellow in age, if he doesn't lose his mind and kill himself, which he possibly could with this type of placement, because it is very like, there's a lot going on in his chart. He can get off the rails pretty easily with this level of placement. But yeah, I mean, he would rather, give everything away in the end, just give it away and live away privately somewhere and disappear into obscurity. I mean, that's what Cancers do. It's what Pisces like to do. They want to build like a magical garden with their partners and live in solitude. Neptune energy for him, like Neptune deals in heaven and hell anyway. So in his chart, it's like, let's have a look where his Neptune is. Let's jump in. Neptune was in Sagittarius. Okay, so I mean, what happens here is that it's the same thing I've got. You go too high in the mind and then others just can't understand you. And then it's like, it's a little bit, at times it could be a little bit like an intellectual snob or an intellectually superior person that is operating on a level that is kind of now beyond a regular human's perception of reality. And I think that when you start to go into the occult and you start to understand the world, the banking, the systems, the corruption, the governments, and you start tracing those cords back to the wall, like, you know, a lot of people don't survive knowing how bad that is. You know, just be aware that, like, think about, say, if you're awake, if you woke up, like, imagine how hard that, say it was hard for you to see how fucked the world is. But imagine, like, when people wake up, just have a little bit of compassion for them. I'm just going off topic here a little bit because, you know, like, if you know that something's wrong in the world, which is what I sense with Kanye, it's like, if we admit that this is wrong, then it's like everything else is fucked as well. So it's like, I always say the analogy would be like pulling up carrots out of the dirt. You know, when you know, carrots, when they grow in a, like, you know, in a garden and you pull one up, you can't uproot one carrot without pulling up all these other carrots with it, that type of thing. They're all connected. So most people wouldn't want to ever pull up one carrot because it's like, if you do that, it's going to destabilize everything that you thought the world was. So Kanye is very aware of that. His chart shows me that he's very aware of that. But he dabbles, like he wants to create controversy. He's a master. Gemini is the court jester, you know, Russell Brand energy. So like they know how to play people. They know how to pull stunts to get attention. And he needs attention. He needs, and because he's rising there as well, it's like, you know, it's overcompensation for lack. So they need to have people watching them. His moon is sitting in the 9th house. Let's just jump in there. So the moon is in Sagittarius. His moon playing out in Sag is all about expansion. So it's like expand, expand, expand. Sexually, spiritually, intellectually, on any level of study, it's about taking it to the next level. Even to the point where, like, the moon playing out in the 9th house in Pisces under Sagittarius can sometimes be, if it's inverted and he's an inverted person, meaning like satanic, that what they'll do is they become anti-art. They do the, like, it's like trans stuff. They become the opposite of the thing that they said that they fight for, they become. So, for example, if it was into art, which Kanye is into, he would be into like modern art, which would be like sticking a banana against a wall and calling that art. And so it's going to a place of anti-art within itself, if that makes sense, as a mockery of actually creating something that is beautiful, that actually did require merit and effort to create. So I hope that made sense. Yeah, so it's pretty extreme, like that moon sitting in the 9th house for him. That's what he can do. And I think he does have a clothing label, or he had a clothing label where he was like emulating homeless people. It's like, you know, as a joke back to homeless people. Like, that's pretty inverted stuff, you know. And I think he likes to play with that in his imagery, and he likes to play with that in his lyrics to his songs. Now, his Mercury is sitting, where's that sitting? Mercury is sitting in the 11th house for him, so it's sitting in Aquarius. So he's an alien, you know, he's so detached sometimes from reality that, you know, when I see Mercury in the 11th house, to me is verbal sparring with people, with like distrust of friendships. Sometimes Mercury in the 11th house under Aquarius can be like a little bit, like thinking, like paranoia, like thinking that people are all against you, like people and groups are all kind of working and conspiring against you, that type of thing. He's got a conjunction with Mercury on his Lilith as well. So at times, like, that could indicate that he will have, like, literally have speech, like things put around his throat to silence him or to oppress him. When we see Mercury conjunct against Lilith and it's sitting in Aquarius in the 11th house, that means that he would probably be very, like, he's got to be very, very careful about what he says publicly. And so he could be prone to wanting to blurt things out. He might know a lot of things about the Kardashians, a lot of things about certain occultists in the world, that level of information. And it's like, if he says one thing publicly, he could be ended, or he could be silenced, or he could be sued. So that actually indicates to me that it's at times he has gone through lots and lots of litigation where he's received class acts against him or his team. All right. Venus in Taurus is where his beauty, love for beauty comes from. Like I mentioned, he does like the creature comforts. Like I have seen him wearing like really soft hoodies. He doesn't like to dress up in like clothing that is over hard or like uncomfortable. So it's all sitting in what's comfortable to him. Food, family, home, stability, beauty, and the figure of the form. Venus in Taurus in relationships is what I said before. It's like the myth of, I'm not sure if it's like, like the one where they did the clay, where they make a clay model like a golem, and then they make it come to life. Venus in Taurus does that with people. So they will mold you to be the thing that they want you to be in a relationship. And they're very hands-on. They're very sexual. They'll fuck you in the car. They'll fuck you at the back of the toilets. They'll fuck you on the beach, that type of thing. They have to have power over the other partner, all right? So Venus in Taurus is not a spontaneous lover. In terms of his love, he needs to have absolute full body dedication to him because that's what he gives to his partner. Okay, and that's playing out for him in the 10th house. So the best years of his life there is going to be in the home. All right, so yeah, 10th house is Capricorn and reputation, but the one thing that he won't lose is being seen as a bad father. That to him would be abhorrent, like because his reputation sits in Capricorn in the 10th house for his Venus. So he will not allow anyone to fuck with his kids, and he won't let himself be seen as a bad father. He can get nasty. Cancer does deal in secrets like Scorpio does with his rising, but he will use truth and dirt that he's got on other people to silence them if he has to. And it's like, and he's prone to relationships where people can do that to him as well, because his Mars is sitting in Taurus. So he does at times, like he needs partners that really regulate his nervous system. Any type of like Mars in Taurus, that's like you need someone that really makes you feel seen, safe, secure, stable. And I think he was married to Kim for like 10, 11 years. So yeah, it's interesting. And it would make sense that he would go for a Libra as well, because she is a Libra, but I'll have to look at her chart to see the Xanastry between the two of them. His Mars is playing out in the 10th house as well. So it's all public, like that is a public house. So it's got to be seen. He's got to be, like it's all public. Everything he does is public. And I think that would probably be like to his detriment because he wants to be private. So I would say he probably has quite a few like very private, secluded houses that he goes to where he just needs time alone. The moon in Pisces, it has to have lots and lots and lots of time alone. Moon in Pisces people don't really, they don't really live well with other people. They're more prone to eventually living on their own. I think they're best suited to being solo when it comes to matters of living arrangements. They can live with their kids or they can live with their partners, but they can't have too many like family dinners and family lunches and stuff like that. It just isn't their thing. They stay right back out of it. So him getting involved with the Kardashians wouldn't have really worked for him because they're like all about like like think of like the Kardashians. Like when I can't even watch it. It's fucking like 10 minutes of watching that show and I'm fucking brain dead. It's like Kimmy, I love you. Oh, it's so good. You know how they talk? Like who talks like that? It's just so insane. But yeah, I mean he wouldn't have liked the aspect of that show. Like he would have definitely had he would have definitely have had like levels of like control over what was shown of him on that show. All right, so his Saturn is sitting in Leo and it's sitting in the second house. So it's Taurus money. So that would make sense. So he really partnered with Kim to get, because I think she made a game or something and she got him out of debt. So like I mentioned, Gemini is strategic in relationships, as is his Saturn in the second house, and it's sitting in Leo. So he likes to have authority over certain things, but he's only aligning himself with something that makes him look good. All right. That's how Leo plays out. They won't let anyone shame them. They will not do that. Okay, Lilith is also sitting in Gemini. So it's like he's got an issue where he'll speak too much and then he'll have times where he speaks too little. He's known for his intelligence, but he's not known for his social skills. Social skills aren't really there. He could be very animalistic with that Taurus there as well. So he could go to he's just a live wire. He could eat with his hands and fingers. He could say anything. He could do anything. It's really difficult to be with someone like him. So let's have a look. I wouldn't look with him. It's always going to have side characters. That's just part of how it is. I think like that Aquarius sitting in the third house. So yeah, I mean, ultimately he likes the idea of a conventional marriage and relationship, but the Geminis, I mean, it's the same as a Sag. Like they wanted that, they get it, and then they don't want it anymore. They're restless like that. It's just how it is. So let's have a look. A lot of his Chiron is sitting around that wound of the masculine as well. So it's like whether his father wasn't there, but he does struggle with masculine issues, mummy issues, daddy issues, that type of thing, which would make sense of why he overcompensates in the aspects of his rising sign in Cancer. So being the father, but yeah, he does have a lot of painful enemies as well. Lots and lots of painful enemies that he's created. He's burned a lot of people within like Hollywood and stuff. But it's like he doesn't want to be controlled. He can't be controlled. He can't be told what to do. Let's have a look for lots of secrets in his Pluto in the fourth house. So fear of betrayal. He's going to get betrayed a lot and he's kind of used to that, I would say. Lots and lots of people kind of turning their backs on him or friends that he would talk to that just suddenly disappeared on him. So yeah, it's just going to be how it is. But after a while, he'd be like, meh, you get used to that. I have the same placement there as well. So I think I've unpacked this quite a bit. This is a level of what you get when you book me and I look at your chart. I'm keeping this quite tight. We're at, 36 minutes. It's quite a lot. But it's interesting. It's really interesting how growing up, as you grow up as a kid, you go through these different stages. There was a very interesting transit that happened in his Saturn return. So I'm not sure around the time when he turned 28, that Saturn return shifted pretty hard. I'm pretty sure that's when his mum died. So that would make sense. Or when his very close family members would have started, like someone died around that time, it would appear as well. It also sits in interdependent generational trauma in the masculine as well. So it's like the sins of the father are the sins of the son. So yeah, that's also playing out as well in his chart. But I mean, he's just emotionally complex, he's intellectually complex. He would be a nightmare to deal with. But Gemini is heaven or hell, and that's what it is. Moon sitting in Neptune. So it's like when he's good, he's really good. And when he's off, he's just like really, really hard to deal with in any context, in a romantic context. Ultimately, the thing that seems to like keep him calm is creating things. And with that, all the Taurus placements, I mean, that's why he's a singer. That's why he's a rapper. He can hold a tune. He knows how to use his voice. He's got a voice. That musically intrinsic side to him has always been like an escape for him. And Pisces moons want to escape. They don't want to be here. Like this world, they know how fucked it is. It's harsh living here, going out in the sun, in the bright, harsh light, how violent humans are. All of that type of stuff is very difficult for a Pisces moon or a Pisces sun anyway. But yeah, with all of the Gemini there against his Taurus, it's like he's very good with like writing music, writing, expressing himself, creativity, like in a creative way. And he's very open to different beats. Like he can pull inspiration from different locations, from just the way the oil, the slick is on the side of the road, the way the rain falls. Very creative mind when it comes to lyrics. And like we saw that in Nelly Furtado's chart, like it's just a musically intrinsic person that can take an idea or like a sentence and then take it to a studio and then work with a team of people to create a song around a theme. So he likes to delve, like his happy place is when he's making art. All right. And Neptune sitting in Sagittarius is squared, so it's going to do that anyway. So this was me looking at Mr. West's chart, Kanye West. I'm not overly into celebrity stuff, but it's fun to do it. I'm doing this. I'm actually enjoying doing this. It's not bad. Like it's okay, and it gets to show you guys what I can do. So yeah, go ahead and book me. My dates are filling up pretty quick for this month. It's really going really well. So the sooner you put your order in, the sooner I can just tear up your chart and just get the fuck into it. I also say, give me 3 questions. I love questions. Let me focus on what you want me to focus on in your reading. Do you want me to look at transits? Do you want me to look at nodes? What is it that you want me to do? You know, I'm happy to look at like Xanastry charts. If you send in your partner's chart, I'll look at their chart against yours and see where your strengths and weaknesses are. I can place them over the top of each other and see, you know, what's working, what's matching. I also have a book here that I really enjoy. It's called The Secret Language of Birthdays. And I'm going to read out, just before I leave, the actual date of the 8th of May is actually it's actually the day of an outspoken person. So there you go. And it says those born on May 8th are not all, it's just talking about how they are really like outspoken and quite opinionated and pull in office, polarizing directions. Like I think that would absolutely sum up Kanye West. You know, when you think he's going left, he's going right. When you think he's going up, he's going down. And that's the complexity of this sign. And the correlating tarot card of Kanye West is actually the Strength card, which is one of my favorite cards. It's actually going to be the new packaging on my new tarot deck, actually, for the El Goliath 3rd edition, which to me, I've always seen this as like taming the beast. Taming your inner lion, taming your inner need for control. I've always seen the Strength card. It's well fitting. It's like knowing when to use your strength, knowing when to be gentle, knowing when to be kind, prying a lion's jaws open, not because you're doing it by force, but you're doing it through like a gentle approach. So I think that's very fitting for the card of the theme of Kanye's card. All right, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing your emails and bookings. I offer 25-minute readings or 45-minute chart readings, and I can't wait to unpack them. I really love doing this. It's so much fun. All right, find me on Instagram as well. I'm @LGoliath_artist. Just find me there, and I do accept DMs. Okay, bye guys, bye.